What is the truth? Do I even know the truth? Do you know it? Does anybody of us even know the real truth? I think we can only perceive elements of truth as we go through life, but to see the entire truth in all its potential glory would be too much to handle in this human lifetime currently. The truth we seek is the truth of our own being. Our shared unity lies in our state of awareness. Awareness is a giant mystery. People know they are aware, but are usually not aware of being aware. What is awareness? How can it be grasped? That will be the purpose of this message, the hidden truth that can set humanity free, although it generally happens on an individual basis. Perhaps it can happen to you. How old are you? As you think of your age, you are thinking of a number, something that was given to you at the moment of your birth. From that moment on, people around you started counting your age, and soon you would become smart enough to keep up with your own age. The number of your age, is that really how old you are? Are you a number? Of course not. So what happened? This is just one of numerous aspects that have set up a giant labyrinth inside your own mind. When you were born, what really started happening? Your mind was instantly being programmed. You were taught a language. You were taught your gender, your age, who your parents were, your race, your country, your friends, and on it goes. All these elements combined generate very rapidly a self-image. This is who I am and what I am, we start saying to ourselves and others. Are you really those things, or are you just repeating what you were told about yourself by somebody else? Our minds have been hijacked and programmed to live with a sense of limitation. That limitation is the phantom self, the ego, the separate self, whatever you would like to call it. We would agree that this sense of ego perhaps serves some purpose in order to distinguish from one another and for the purpose of having the experience of reaching out to someone or something. The problem is that we have invested all our self-worth into this limited version of ourselves. We have forgotten who we really are, what we really are, and we are a state of awareness that is currently experiencing all these perceived labels and limitations of our physical lives. We are not any of it, we only experience it. The moment you were born, a programming started to occur, and not long after, you were put into a school system, then indoctrinated your mind with ideas and concepts about how society and the world works. People blindly accepted what they were told, and as adults we find themselves and ourselves, everyone, suffering greatly more often than not. They suffer because they have forgotten who they really are, which is a state of awareness, simply experiencing the apparent limitations of their lives. But it is in identification with what we were told as little children we lost sight of the power of awareness in us. And so we started to believe we were a particular kind of child when growing up. If grades were good, we thought we were good students. If they were bad, we would think we are bad students. And as we grow older, this goes on in all areas of our lives. It literally sinks into everything. We don't have a lot of money, so we think we are poor. We don't have a partner, so we think we are unwanted. We are overweight, so we think we are unattractive. We are sick, so we think we are not healthy. On and on it goes. We identify our own sense of self with the labels and activities that take place within our physical lives. None of that is showing you the truth about who you are. You are a state of awareness that is simply experiencing these things. Due to our identification with the labels of our lives, we desperately try to improve them or hide away from them. People start doing all kinds of radical things in order to try and feel better about themselves and their lives. Many times the activities they come up with are detrimental to their own well-being in the long run. What is the remedy? Remember who you are, a state of awareness. Don't identify yourself with the apparent limitations of your physical life. They only exist and feel specifically real because of the attention we give to them. Give your attention to awareness. Become aware of being aware. Awareness is all you ever were and all you ever remain. When you go to sleep at night, as a child for example, but even as adults, we become aware of dreams. We think they are real at that moment in time, unless we become lucid and wake up within the dream world. This has happened to me occasionally, and I'm sure you might be able to relate. Regardless, all we ever are is awareness. So when you are dreaming, you are aware of that reality. When you wake up with your body, you become aware of this current reality. And when your body dies, you simply become aware of yet another reality. There are infinite realities, and you have access to all of them if you understand your true nature, which is that you are a state of awareness, and awareness has no limits, like we notice apparent limitations in our physical lives. The reason why it seems so difficult to grasp this mysterious power of awareness is due to your deep-seated identification with yourself as a physical being, combined with all the labels this physical self seems to be all about. In order to find your unity with the universe and set yourself free, you have to learn to let go of the labels of this illusory self and re-establish your true nature of awareness as the permanent power of your life. Go to sleep every night and know that you are awareness. Think to yourself when awake throughout your days, I am awareness. When you fall asleep, whisper in consciousness, I am awareness, over and over again until it grows strong, and you become able to let go of this sense of being a limited human being. For perhaps many years you have been saying consciously or unconsciously, I am, and after those words follow your name, race, country, etc. All the labels all over again. Now make an honest attempt to stop doing it. Reverse this nonsense. Start saying and believing in the statement, I am awareness. Then watch where it will take you, for there are no limits to awareness and where it can be and go. Let us now bring it back to your childhood. That is where the foundation of all the labels of your adult life have been established. Once you reach adulthood, you blindly follow along with the established norms and ideas about reality, but none of the societal ideas about reality ever address the nature of awareness, which is what we really are. Basically, it is clear we all seem to prefer investing all our attention into being a little human being in a giant universe, and we have no clue about what life is all about, so it must have no purpose or meaning. If you know that you are awareness, then you understand that the purpose of life is to enjoy your experience, to enjoy the adventure of physical life, and to never be attached or identify yourself with any of the things that go on within the journey itself, for you are simply the state of awareness experiencing these activities. So what happens? Most people do not enjoy their experience. They are depressed, sad, lonely, scared, worried, etc. What has happened? Well, what has happened is that you are experiencing exactly the issue. You have lost track of who you really are, which is a state of awareness. You now believe you are a limited human being separated from God, which in this context would mean infinite awareness itself, and you therefore feel lost. But if you remember who you are, you can heal your heart. It doesn't have to stay broken forever. It can be instantly healed in the remembrance of who you truly are, a state of awareness, and your awareness is a God's awareness. That is why you are one with all of infinity and eternity. Though we can't admit grasping such a concept from our human point of view is simply impossible. We can only experience aspects of this truth, just as I said at the very start of this video. Remember who you are. The reason I can make this claim that you are a state of awareness is because I have experienced the meaning of my claim, and on top of that we can at least all agree that nothing we experience is permanent. It always changes around, it comes and goes, but something in all of these changing phenomena remains, and that is awareness itself, which is your true I. The nature of I is awareness. Then awareness says, I am, and adds labels to itself. And as it does so, it forgets who it was by becoming entirely hypnotized by the activities and experiences the labels of our physical life represent. People sometimes ask, if I am awareness, why can't I remember what I was before I was born? That I would explain due to the nature of awareness. It doesn't need memory, it simply is aware. But to try and make this more simple for you, awareness becomes aware of physical life through your body, and it isn't far-fetched to describe this process as awareness attaching itself to the body, losing itself in the labels of this physical world and now only remembering what it thinks it is based on those labels. Awareness is aware of things but doesn't deal with memories like we do as an ego that has to keep track of everything about itself. Awareness has been hypnotized into believing it is a name and gender, race, age, poor, rich, healthy or sick, tall or short. You are a state of awareness experiencing all of these things, but you are not the things experienced. If you want to go and experience total freedom, let go of these labels. Sense the true nature of I. Sense what you really are behind the labels you have given yourself, and accept it as true. You are awareness, and in that sensing you will find peace, for awareness is always at peace. This is comparable to dying as we normally know it. We learn to consciously let go of all the labels. We let go of our attachment to things and instead let life flow with and through us. We don't try to hold on to things, for that creates suffering. We suffer because we have to let go of things all the time. We can end the suffering by remembering who we really are and simply let things come and go freely, since we are only experiencing them at the end of the day. You can let yourself be guided by wisdom of the world, or by wisdom of infinite awareness. Yours is the choice, and remember that the wisdom of the world is foolish in the eyes of God, which is infinite awareness itself. So it is literally foolish to believe you are your labels and to keep investing energy into that. It is wise to remember who you truly are and invest your attention into that so that you can keep expanding your own unity and wisdom with all of creation itself. Think beyond the labels you were given. See yourself differently, not according to your labels, but according to the wisdom of infinite awareness, and let it guide you into greater and greater degrees of awareness of unity with all of creation. Truly, that is the only sane way to live. Anything else is insane, for it is leading us astray and away from our true nature. At first this may seem difficult due to the habit of identifying yourself according to earthly labels, but you can reverse this process by deciding you will do it. You will begin right now to affirm for yourself, I am awareness, and you will find evidence of this by paying attention to the fact all you ever do throughout your entire life so far is simply being aware of events and experiences. The ego takes it personal, and so we start suffering and feel we have to fight back against the things. Awareness doesn't take things personally, since it simply is aware of the experiences and it isn't ever touched or hurt by any of the activities that take place in our physical life. If negative things occur in your world that need to be changed, let infinite awareness guide you towards the right solution. That is much better than instantly going into a fight or flight mode and create even more chaos for yourself and others around you. We go into fight or flight mode because we have invested all of our self-identity into the labels of our lives. If we remember we are none of those labels and are simply awareness itself, then we realize we are in fact witnessing the true unity of humanity in all of creation. It is easy at first, however, to grasp the unity of humanity, for all humans, wherever they live, what race they may be, all say, I am. They all have a sense of I. We all share the same sense of I, and it is I that is a state of awareness. It is by understanding that we all share this awareness we will one day grasp that everything is part of that same awareness, and complete unity can be perceived. It is this truth that can set humanity free. It is this knowledge that can set you as an individual free. It is this truth that will set all of creation free from its conflicts. At its essence, all of life is one, but the oneness got lost in the investment of all the labels and concepts of limitation. Let creation remember the truth, and it can rejoice in unity, in the divine brotherhood that we all share. When I say, who is I am, I say that I am. So who am I? People should dare to ask themselves, and they realize they are most certainly not their name. That is just a word made up of letters. Then they say they are their body. That is the most strongest sense of who we say we are. But then you could also say that, well, if that was you, then you must sense your skeletal structure in its entirety and all the cells in your body entirely. You would notice so much all at once it drives you nuts. So that's not who you are either. If we are honest with ourselves, we simply notice, I am. Well, I am aware of things, that's all. I am aware of my body, my name, my country, my race, my job, my money, my relationship. I'm only aware of these things and nothing else. So it shows again we are awareness, and awareness has no boundaries. One cannot find any limits to awareness. So that means we find what God is. So that is where you find peace and true happiness, in that realization. I know it's not easy at first for anyone, but if you truly grasp that you are essentially awareness, then it brings joy, because it is after that you can slowly comprehend that if I dream, I am aware. All I am is awareness. So if my body dies, then I simply stop being aware of my body. That's all because I am awareness. It can lift a huge burden of the soul. All you are is a state of awareness. You can only be aware of things. You never own a thing. You never are anything else but a being of awareness. That is a secret most can never notice. It is once we think we own things. Well, we are things other than simply awareness itself, then we start to suffer, worry, get anxiety, go insane pretty much. Because it has to be that way. Awareness is aware of things and how they come and go all the time. So in holding on to things, you will have to admit, I'm going to lose this. And that is more of the ego, that way of thinking and worrying. Ego is therefore comparable to a phantom self, a non-existent you, that was made up of an idea you were simply aware of at the end of the day. I am aware of being Renil, so I introduce myself as Renil to people, to you in person. But I'm only aware of it. That is not the real me, but if I consider it the real me, like so many people do on this planet with themselves, then I must be very afraid of one day dying, since Renil will be gone from this earth. I end up being afraid of being hurt, of things happening to me, all because I invested my whole identity in a temporary self that was nothing but an idea in my field of awareness. So ancients would talk of the law and the promise, but it is difficult to perceive for most, so if you cannot grasp it for now, that's alright. One day everyone will, but the law of your being, if understood, leads into a promise that the universe made to itself in a way, or that God made to humanity. And that is essentially that you realize that the law of your being is I am pure awareness, pure consciousness, without form or labels. Those were of the ego, phantom self realm. And the promise is that you actually find the unity and oneness with all of life in that act of awakening to your true nature of being, the true nature of I within yourself.